Hey everyone, this is your host Lauren, and this is another episode of Another Black Girl Podcast. This is another Black Girl Podcast. Black Girl. We're doing our best to make it last. This is another Black Girl Podcast. We're doing our best to make it last. Another Black Girl Podcast. Yes. Like I said, you know who it is already. So hey, I hope everybody had a good and forget productivity, it's a panoramic. I hope everybody had a safe and healthy week, and I hope that you wore your mask above your nose. This is the last day, I believe, yeah. Today is the last day of Black History Month, y'all. I feel like it just started. But in a country of anti-blackness, why would they give us an average-sized month? But I digress. I feel like I should have the Black Anthem as the theme song. If you don't know what that is, the Black National Anthem, well, the anthem of Black people in the United States, check it out. It started as a poem, then it became a song. It's great. And one of the best versions is Beyonce's version. Surprise. So, happy Black History Month, if you're Black or if you're not. Because Black history and Black culture is American history, American culture, and it's world history and world culture, to be honest. For example, ooh, my phone just fell. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll edit that, whatever. But for example, I didn't know till recently that a Black man created the traffic light, the thing that goes red, yellow, green, that everybody hates. A Black man made that. Child, all I learned about in school was George Washington Carver with them peanuts. Which is nice and good, but that is not the height, the depth, the breadth, or the width, or any other metric of Black history, So, again, happy Black History Month. I'm sad to see it go, but every month is Black History Month. Every day is a day filled with Black history, and this nation would be nothing without Black history and nothing without Black culture. Dare I say all. But if you're listening to this, and if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know this. So I was kind of thinking that I like this release time and date of Sunday at 12 a.m. Because, for my late girls and gays and nays, this is great. If you can't sleep, whatever, rock out. And if you can, catch it in the morning, I guess. And Sunday mornings are easy enough for most people. I don't know. Drop your thoughts. Let me know them. I'm saying drop it like it's a YouTube channel. Let me know your thoughts. Whatever. Anyway, the release date for the next 8, I believe it is, episodes, the date is going to be Sunday, 12 a.m. Or as close as I can get to it. For example, today, I'm recording it at 12 actually, but don't drag me. So, we have a special guest named Allison Wellington. She's a New York girl like me, and if you didn't hear all of her extensive credentials and all of the things she's achieved, please tune in to the beginning of the 3rd season. It was the 20th episode, and she was also in the last episode. Unfortunately, she is not able to make it for this one, but she, fingers crossed, God willing, knock on wood, all of the things, will be on for our next. Last week's episode, we spoke about toxic relationships and wholeness as an individual. It was inspired by Malcolm and Marie, which dropped on Valentine's Day or right before it. So, if you're interested in that, tune in to the last episode after or before you listen to this one. As long as you're here and you're listening, we are grateful for your presence. If you're new to this podcast, this specific season is all about relationships and self-improvement that we can do to prepare ourselves and better prepare ourselves for relationships. For this specific episode, I'm going to be talking about, drum roll please, the 5 love languages. Definitely overdone, but we're still going to talk about it anyway. We got to talk about it. So, the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and touch. Words of affirmation are basically just telling somebody how much you love them or how much you care for them or how much they mean to you. Quality time, fairly self-explanatory, but if it's not, quality time is spending time with the person that you love. Acts of service, somebody cooking you dinner, taking out the trash for you, washing your hair, I guess. Gifts are self-explanatory, and then the last one is touch, which is the love language of physical affection. So this guy named Gary Chapman wrote a book and a couple articles on this idea of the 5 love languages. It's definitely been hyped up and a lot of people have read it. I'm not saying that it's wrong or that I don't believe in it. It's just heavily discussed. LOL, that's funny. Because I'm discussing it now. Not the point. So this book and these ideas of this idea of the 5 love languages, is heavily discussed. I think that it is important and holds truth and weight because there are different ways that people receive and give love. For instance, I may love coffee myself, and the person I'm with may also like coffee. But maybe I enjoy when my partner brings me coffee as a gift, and I might enjoy making the coffee for my partner as an act of service. It is so important in relationships, not only in romantic relationships, but also in platonic and any other substantial relationship that's worth saving and holding on to in your life, to understand the ways in which that person you are in a relationship wants to be loved, the way they are comfortable accepting love, and it's important for you to understand how you want to give love and how you want to receive love. For example, if I have a friend who might have been abused or had recently experienced some form of physical harm from another human being, physical touch might not be the best thing for them immediately following that problematic and very troubling circumstance. You know? So it's important to be sensitive. It's important to be empathetic. And I definitely think that it is worth saying very early on that people can change their minds. Just like how people can change their minds and revoke or give consent at any moment during a sexual relationship, it's also important to note that people can revoke or give consent or change their love language, the love that they receive, or the love language of the love that they give at any moment. And as someone who is in a relationship with said person who has the complete authority and legitimacy to change the way they want to give or receive love, it's important to be sensitive and to be empathetic and to be mindful, because you're not in a relationship with yourself. You're not in a friendship with yourself. You're not your own child. You're not your own mother. You're not your own brother, sister, whatever other relationships that come to mind. It's not just you. It's not just about you. And maybe, if you feel it necessary, it's good to check in every once in a while. Because people are allowed to change their minds. One day I might wake up and I'll suddenly hate coffee. Maybe I'll hate making coffee. So I don't want you to bring me coffee and I don't want to make you any coffee. I'm allowed to do that. And that's totally okay. For any relationship that has lasted any length of time, I think that it's worth considering different ways to express your love for the other person or people in said relationship. You know, like maybe my person, my friend, my whatever, I usually make coffee for them because they enjoy acts of service. What if I clean the coffee machine? What if I go get them another one? What if I get them two? Like stuff like that. It's worth being creative, especially in romantic relationships that have withstood tests of time. It's worth getting creative because things can get boring and stale. And who wants that? No one. Thank you for staying tuned. This is another Black Girl podcast. Before I move on, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Anchor, which is the forum I use to publish and share my podcast, Another Black Girl podcast, with you. It is absolutely free, and there are creation tools that allow me to record and re-record and re-record and edit my podcast from my phone and or my computer. It distributes my podcast so I can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, I think it is, and a whole lot of other platforms. I can make money from my podcast with no minimum listenership because of the ads. Anchor also finds the ads for you, honorable mention, and it's basically everything you need in a podcast. So it gives you some transition music and some pretty cool features, some data, some analytics, some cool looking charts, and yeah, it's a great forum to publish your podcast on. So if you wish to start one, go to anchor.fm to get started. It's important also to note that, yes, we learn about love languages because we want to be good partners or good BFFs and good things to other people. It's also important to learn about love languages so that you can be a better friend, a better person, a better ally to yourself. It's important that you take the time to understand yourself and understand the ways in which you enjoy giving and receiving love. It's important. And those things, those two very important things, inform the way you will move in a relationship. So before you start looking for someone, know what you want in a person. Don't look for somebody and then expect them to read your mind because you don't definitively know what you want. It sounds a little backwards. That's definitely a little backwards. So be clear about the things you want, on the way you want to be loved. Specifically. And it's okay. If gifts are your jam, some might say you're materialistic, some might say you're a gold digger. Most people who say that ain't got no gold to dig, but go off. And it's a clear indicator when stating the ways in which you want to give and receive love when the time comes to look for a partner or friend or whatever. It helps wean people out. So if you like gifts and you're interviewing or checking out and trying to build a relationship with somebody who's not into giving gifts, it saves a whole lot of heartache down the road. It weans them out. It makes it easier. Well, it should make it easier. It's not always easier, but it should make it easier for you and for the other party before feelings get involved, before hearts get broken, before there's a falling out of any kind. I'm saying, like I'm on the phone or something. I can't even hear your response, but please respond so I don't sound completely out of my mind. In researching for this episode, I found out that some people believe that there are more than 5 love languages. Scienceofpeople.com has an article that says that the 6th love language is distance. And that's definitely interesting to me. It's interesting because when you think of love and love languages, you're thinking of two people in a romantic relationship who are on top of each other, not physically, but very close in proximity, people with rose-colored glasses on, the whole Nicholas Sparks, whatever, The Notebook, The Last Song kind of stuff, while they're still in their great phases, at least. So when you think of love languages, when I think of love languages, I don't always think about it in terms of distance. Because, if you love somebody, like my mind would say, if you love somebody, you're going to want to be with them every second, every minute, every hour, every day, blah, 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 whatever. But distance is an interesting take. Maybe you're in a romantic relationship with somebody who loves you, but is also trying to heal or has withstood some kind of trauma. Or, trauma aside, they might just be an introvert. They might be neurodivergent. And they might love their alone time. And in relationships, I can also say, like, there was a point, like, usually at the beginning of my relationships, I'm like, oh, like, let's spend together, let's be together all the time. But as I get more comfortable, I'm like, okay, you can go away now. Like, I'm all right. I'll go read this book by myself. Let's reconvene at 6 p.m. It's definitely something that I've experienced in my life and in my relationships, because if I give you distance, that means I trust you. If I needed to watch you, then I would be like on you like white on rice. But distance is definitely an interesting take. And I didn't hear about that take or unpopular opinion until basically today. I'd love to hear y'all thoughts on that. Distance as a love language. And then I think there's also a seventh love language. I don't know if it would count as one or whatever. In my mind, the seventh love language is the amalgamation of all of the love languages. So, the seventh love language would be, in my mind, quality time, gifts, words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, and distance. When speaking about this topic of love languages via Gary Chapman, people always think it has to be one or the other. Especially because it's like, oh, the book says so. Of course, it's not the case for every freaking person. And for a while, I felt a little, when coming to understand the ways I like to receive and give love, but specifically in terms of the way I like to receive love, I felt a little guilty and a little bit problematic and chaotic because I didn't like receiving love in just one way. In a perfect world, I think I'm phenomenal. I think that I'm a catch for anyone who's in a relationship with me. And I want all of the things. All of the things afforded to me, all of the things that someone is willing to do because they care for me, I want it. Why would I not want it? If you're going to affirm me verbally, if you're going to give me kisses and cuddles, if you're going to buy me flowers, if we're going to take out my trash and then play Xbox with me, or like go fishing with me, like, why would I not want all of that? That's amazing, But when I was coming to understand that and like cycling through and processing that, I felt a little guilty. Definitely felt a little selfish. Especially in a society where women are usually perceived as needy and Black women are usually portrayed as undeserving of love. But I am deserving and I'm gonna get it. And that's on period. And you are too. If I'm not careful, I definitely believe that I have the tendency to shrink myself in relationships. Meaning that I want all five, but because I feel bad or I feel guilty or whatever, I feel like maybe I should only have or tell said person that I have one love language, but in reality it's five. As women, or as a woman, I believe that society has taught me to shrink myself, and we're not here for that anymore. It's 2021, and one thing we're going to have is the audacity. I saw this interview God, I saw this part of an interview on Harper's Bazaar with freaking Maxine Waters, the Maxine Waters, and the Meg The Stallion. Listen to it.
Then they told me to look at was a what? And I did. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. And here's what I said. Now that's audacity. That is audacity. And that is the ability for women to take charge of what they want to say.
So in my love life in general, and in my life in general, and all things, it's late for New Year's resolutions, but after this, I was like, I need the audacity, because I don't have it now. Or well, I'm not as close to having the audacity as I would like to be. So, if you need to level up your audacity like me, do it. If you need some help, if it's easier said than done, which most things are, feel free to affirm yourself with me in my Deca Affirmations ebook that you can find on www.anotherbg.com/shop. There's 2 volumes. The first one is based on the affirmations from the first 10 episodes. Volume 2 is based on the second set of 10, which was our second season, the affirmations from those episodes. And I'm sure there's another one coming. But this year we need the audacity, because everybody else apparently seems to have it. Clearly, even Joe Biden. There's a lot I could say about that, but I'm not even about to do it. And clearly for this affirmation, you already know the vibes, you know what it is, you know what it was, you know what it's about to be. This affirmation is I have the audacity. Audacity, if you don't know what it means, is defined as a willingness to take bold risks or rude or disrespectful behavior. Listen, sometimes people be disrespectful with you, you got to give it right back. Sometimes you have to have the audacity to get crazy with people, to keep the same energy people give you. Sometimes you need to take some risks. It's necessary. Life isn't always full of prudent decisions, so in those moments where we need the audacity, we're going to have it this year. So I have the audacity. If I don't right now, I'm manifesting it. I'm speaking it into existence, all of the things. I have it and I'm getting it. You have it and you're getting it. We have the audacity in our love lives, in our careers, in our jobs. What else? In our workouts, in our exercise, in our diets. We have the audacity. So that means if you want to eat a donut, eat a donut. If you think you should have a salad, eat a salad. And probably go eat another one too. Just to be sure that you ate the first one. But seriously, in moderation. We gotta have willingness to take bold risks. And I mean that willingness comes as you become more sure of yourself. If you're sure of yourself, you're gonna bet on yourself. If you know what you're capable of, you can promote yourself, you can pitch yourself and tell others to invest in you. So as you take the time and learn your love languages, you're investing in yourself. When you invest in yourself, you're going to take bold risks on behalf of yourself. So have the audacity. Be strong, take the time you need. And we'll get there together. And that's it. That's all we got for today. That's on period. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a safe week. It doesn't always have to be productive. Oh, that was disrespectful. I'm sorry. It doesn't always have to be productive, but you're alive during a Panasonic. You made it this far and you're killing it. So, this is your host, Lauren Lori Laura, and I will speak to you soon. As always, this is another Black Girl podcast. Check me out on my website, on my socials. I'll drop them all. I love y'all. Peace out. We're doing our best to make it last. Another Black Girl podcast.